Rutherford. We're going to get back to the phone calls. A quick update. I may talk about this a little more tomorrow, or I might not. I may forget by then. So I want to put it out here right now. I'm already starting to see articles, seeing several now. The IRS is warning there may be a late start to the 2019 tax season, which is kind of crazy, but I've been talking about this all year, that this was such a major tax law change, and the IRS is understaffed. They're not getting the resources out that we need to get prepared for tax season. Now, they're saying there's a good chance employers are going to be late getting out W-2s and 1099s. So if you are dependent on those documents and you're going to have to wait, it's more important than ever to get prepared. Get everything together that you can get together. And if you have to wait, now, if you're an independent contractor, you should not be waiting for 1099s to do your taxes. You don't need them. They don't go with the tax return. So if you got no 1099s, it shouldn't matter. You should have the correct accounting, left curve ahead. Know how much money you made. As an employee, the W-2 has to be attached to the tax return. But you have all the numbers, or you have access to all the numbers you need to do your tax return without the actual W-2. And there's even a substitute W-2 if you never got one. You could still fill out your tax return. So don't wait to get your documents. They may be late. Get started on your taxes right now. I will talk about this more. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or not, but I'll be talking about this a lot. It's going to be an interesting tax season. Let's get back to some phone calls. Let's go to Ontario. Mike, welcome to the program.
How are you today, Kevin? Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. What can I help you with?
We spoke about 18 months ago, and you looked at my NutriQ, and you said it was one of the worst NutriQs that you've ever reviewed.
Okay.
So I went on the ketogenic diet. I did the gut healing. I did the stomach acid increase. Everything went well for a year.
Okay.
I went from 335 down to 277.
Excellent.
Then I stalled out in March. My wife was diagnosed with lupus nephritis in March. Was in the hospital in kidney failure. The following day, my boss fired me. A month later, my mother-in-law went in the hospital with Wernicke's encephalopathy. She passed away in November. It's just been a very, very stressful year.
Curve warning ahead. Sorry to hear that.
I tried to keep on eating keto, but it seems like everything has stalled.
I'm not surprised, and I want you to keep eating clean. You may not necessarily need to eat keto right now.
Okay.
I mean, clearly you still want to lose weight. There's still things you can improve, but we might need to take a step back, right curve ahead from keto for right now. But I still want you to eat
150% better.
Good.
Just losing that 70 pounds or so.
Good.
Now, the other question I had was, with lupus nephritis, what kind of a diet would help my wife? All they're telling her is low sodium.
Yeah, that's a really bad idea. Here's what I would recommend. I want you to look up the Walls protocol. You may want to eat
kidney
excellent
pie.
Excellent.
Like and
yeah.
I feel better eating that, and I think she does too, but when she has a lupus flare-up, like she's on the couch for a week.
Yeah, that's why she's going to need something very specific, like an AIP protocol. But I want you to start with the Walls protocol and see how she does that. For you, what's happening, you just described an extremely stressful year in your life.
Oh, I can't wait for this year to be over.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff going on. Stress will block everything we do with food. You give me, anybody, enough extreme stress and everything goes wrong, because so much of our health is dictated by hormones. Weight is completely dictated by hormones, not calories. We thought it was calories forever. They're almost meaningless. Our weight is dictated by hormones. And stress can wreak havoc with hormone balances. And then we get crazy results that we have a hard time even interpreting. So at that point, what we focus on is minimizing and reducing stress. And a strict keto diet can be stressful. It can be stressful to the body sometimes because it's a major change. It's stressful to you sometimes if you're worried about your carb count or counting carbs. And so at some point I say, look, right now the stress may be more important than your macros. So let's not sweat over the macros right now. Eat real food, eat nutrient dense, you're doing that, but don't worry about being low carb and focus on things that you can do to reduce stress. Meditation, there are tons of good meditation apps, yoga, getting out and walking, in nature when you can.
I'm a flatbedder, so I get lots of exercise all week.
Yeah, and it's not so much exercise that I'm after. A small amount of correct exercise can help reduce stress. Too much exercise can increase stress. So I'm looking more at enjoyment, getting out and walking in nature on a nice day, even a cold winter day. It's stress relieving. Jumping up on a flatbed to tarp a load when it's sleeting, it may be exercise, but it's stressful. So those things are the stuff we want to try to minimize, and we want to try to maximize the things that bring us joy and help us relax and sleep better. So right now for you, focus on nutrient density and lowering stress. For your wife, look up that Walls protocol and give that a try.
Will do. I appreciate that info.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call, and sorry for such a horrible year, but I think for the most part you're handling it well. You're asking good questions, you're trying different things, so keep doing what you're doing. Just make a couple of those tweaks, and I think you're going to see some improvement. Let's go to Texas. Robert, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I've got a question about my oil sample. You should have it there in front of you.
All right, let me look for it here. Give me some details while I'm taking a look at this. What year is this truck?
2014 Coronado with a Detroit 12.7 engine.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we've got a 12.7 pre-emission, and it's got 572,000 on the engine and about 29,000 on the oil.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't see anything at all that I would even be remotely concerned about. This is a great sample. We have virtually no wear metals, no fuel dilution. Everything looks good. The base is holding up really nice. Viscosity looks good. The only thing, and this is so minor, I'm not even sure if I want to bring it up. I love on a 12.7, my goal is always to keep soot less than 0.1. That is a very clean burning engine when everything is right. You're at 0.7. I mean, that is nothing, really. I mean, I don't get too concerned about soot, even on a 12.7 until it gets over 1. If it's around 2, then we really start looking for things. But my challenge on all of my 12.7s was to keep my oil samples, the soot under 0.1. That way I knew I was burning completely. It was nice and clean. Like I say, 0.7 is so minor, I'm not even sure if I would try to address anything.
Okay. Do you think I should extend my oil a little bit longer, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Change it?
Yeah, no, you could absolutely extend this another 10,000 miles.
Okay. All right, great. I also got a question about my transmission. I'm averaging around 6.5. I've got a 10-speed. I was wondering if 13-speed would help me a whole lot more, or?
No. Changing a transmission is never cost-effective in fuel economy, and I can almost use the word never there. It's not that it can't improve it. It might. In some operations, if I had an operation running from Denver to LA, and that was my route back and forth, a 13-speed spec-right might give me a couple tenths of an advantage over a 10-speed. Maybe a couple tenths. If I'm running like my trucks used to run, even when I had a team truck running from Orlando to LA, hell, there's hardly a hill anywhere in there. A 13-speed wouldn't have done diddly squat to improve fuel economy. The 13-speed over the 10, its biggest advantage is in the hills. because we can split gears and stay right in the torque curve where we want to be, and we don't have that big jump between gears. But even then, let's say it improved 0.3. At today's fuel price, which is on its way down again, and who knows if there's anything that's going to bring it back up, at today's fuel price, 0.3 of a mile per gallon is saving you about $1,500 a year, maybe $2,000 if we stretch it. A transmission's going to cost you $8,000. We've got a 4-year break even, and we haven't made a penny back from that investment for the first 3 or 4 years. It's just not worth it.
Okay. Also, my rears are 358. Would change their out?
It could, but we're back to the same thing. Changing rear end gears has gotten more expensive in the last couple of years. You're probably looking at $4,000 to $6,000. We might pick up a couple tenths, so you're still looking at probably a 2-year break even, which for me is way too long. I mean, 1 year and under is a no-brainer. 18 months I have to think hard about. 2 years out of the question. There's so many other things I could be doing with my money that would give me a better return in a shorter period of time. So whatever money you were thinking about spending on transmissions or differentials, I would look at every other fuel mileage modification available for your truck first. All right, I'm going to get to a break. We're going to come back. We will get to more of your calls and questions right after this. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.